What you're looking at here is a mini database, the Dreamforce payroll. We've got the employees, we've got their benefits, dental, medical, or dental and medical, or none. Then the hours that they worked that week, and you multiply that by their hourly rate, gives us the gross that they earned that week. And the functions that we're going to be going over are the count and count A. You can see the term and the definition there. The count function is going to count up all cells that contain numbers. So how would you use this, or why would you want to use it? It depends upon your database. If I want to find out how many employees have worked this week, instead of counting them, well, by eyeballing it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I can use the count function to count up because I have their hours here. The number of cells that contain numbers, meaning that they put in at least an hour or something, as long as it's got a number in there, it's going to count it up. So to go ahead and do this, you can hit the equals key on the keyboard, type in the first couple letters, and it brings it up right there. Count, it's highlighted. You can see in the pop-up, counts the number of cells in a range that contain numbers. Hit the tab key to pop open the function so we can go ahead and select our range. Either type it in 5 colon through G14, or click and drag to select it. I mean, you may not want to select it if your range goes down to row 200. I mean, once you start clicking and dragging, Excel picks up and goes off on a frenzy and just shoots it all the way down past 200. So you may want to type it in. In any case, hit enter. Hey, sweet. There's a total of 7 that we selected that contain values, and those are the number of employees that worked this week. Now, on another note, down below in the status bar, when you click and drag to select a range of cells, as you recall, we get some of the functions listed down below, the average, sum, and also the count. But the count down below is not the same as the count function that we just used. If you hover over it, in the pop-up, it says the number of selected cells that contain data, not numbers, but just data. So it can be text, it can be numbers, it can be a combination. So you want to keep that in mind, that when you select a range and you go, oh, let me go ahead and select this range here that just contains text, and go, okay, the count function says there are 8. Wait a second, I thought it was just numbers. No, the one in the status bar, the count there, is not the same as the count function, okay? If you want to do the count in the status bar, then don't look at the count here. Go ahead and right-click on it to customize it and do numerical count, okay? Select that. Once you check it and you click off of it, it's not going to show the number of cells that contain numbers because the selection that we have do not contain numbers. So if we go ahead and select this range, numerical count counts up 7 that it sees, and of course count is going to count up the same number because coincidentally those cells that we have selected contain data. Whether it's text, numbers, it's going to reflect the same. So you can see the difference between the two if I select this range here, where the count here says it sees all those cells that contain something as 15, and those that only contain numbers are 10 for the numerical count. Right click, let's go ahead and uncheck numerical count, click off in a blank area, and let's do count A, which will count the cells that are not empty. Okay, how does that work? Well, if you want to find out, let's say, how many employees have worked this week out of the total of 10 that we have here, instead of counting them up, those cells that contain the number of hours that they worked, and say, okay, this one worked, that one worked, total of 7, do the count A, and it will count again all those cells that aren't empty, which would give us 7. Or you can do it for benefits and say, okay, we want to find out how many employees have benefits, and we can just go ahead and type in equals count, and then arrow down to get count A. Again, counts the number of cells in a range that are not empty. Hit the tab key to pop it open, click and drag to select the range of benefits, hit enter, and how many out of the 10 that have benefits? 8. Those are pretty good odds. At least they have one type of benefit or another, whether it's dental or medical or both.